5 albums in 23 years isn't exactly a prolific musical career, but for the US's Devourment, who have split up throughout the course of 23 years 3 times and gotten back together, their discography is potent, and I think a lot of people turn to them for kind of setting the standard when it comes to brutal slamming death metal. And with their 5th album, Obscene Majesty, we're looking at probably their most complex and absolutely crushing release to date. This came out last year on Relapse Records, their 5th album, and I can honestly say, as a guy that had a really love and hate relationship with brutal death metal. I think it was 95. We were doing Worm Gear. We just started Worm Gear, and just about every single promo that came in was brutal death metal, trying to sound like Suffocation and Cannibal Corpse. And it really burnt me out for a long time on the entire genre. Other than, traditional death metal and European death metal. I mean, that stuff, I love it. But the brutal slam stuff, it has been the last couple of years where I've kind of had a reawakening with my focus and enjoyment of this genre. When you think of slam death metal, you think of just really ridiculous knuckle dragging grooves, seriously heavy bass drops, incredibly stupid lyrics, often obscene, misogynistic, all that stuff. On this album, they have taken a lot of the staples of the genre and cooked them into a violent mash of songs. This Obscene Majesty has 10 tracks on it. And I gotta tell you, this is easily the most violent and savage record I've heard in a long time. And if I were to have done a best of list last year, this would have been probably in the top 5, if not number 2. Just for the simple fact that there are some definite slamming qualities about this, but it's the sound and the way they're presented is just so absolutely nasty and heinous. And down-tuned, they're dropped so low with the tuning. It just sounds like these guitar riffs are coming from another dimension. And you got the false harmonic squawks and bends. And if you were to listen to this on a really good stereo system, maybe with a bass, a subwoofer, like in my vehicle, there's a sub. There are so many subtle bass drops that just like put chills down your neck, and they're hitting at such poignant times in the song. The vocals, super low, deep, brutal, guttural, the way you expect them. They sound great, and the songs are chaos. I mean, you're not going to listen to this album once or twice and think, oh, I got it, because it took me, what kept me there was the sound, the overall sound. It does not sound like they mic'd amps on this. It sounds like some tricked out amp sim guitar simulator that they just layered a bunch of different sounds on top to come up with this unique but completely demonic guitar tone. Songs are chaos, like I mentioned. One thing, you're not going to find hardly any melody on this album. It's all just attack, 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 both in the drum work, the vocals, and the guitar riffs themselves. They never really give you a breath. It's always, they'll drop down slower for a heavy groove movement, but it's completely laced with, laced with these just nasty atonal riffs and note runs. It's just amazing. For me to sit here and tell you that a brutal death metal album is amazing, that should be something, I guess, because if you knew me, you knew that this stuff, like I said, it's really hit or miss for me. But with Devourment's Obscene Majesty, they have taken the genre and advanced it into new levels of dissonance and aggression, I think, anyway. And the more you're going to sit and listen to this album, I think the impact is going to keep you there, but the more you listen to it, the songs start to reveal themselves to you. And it's just a non-stop onslaught, and I gotta say, I've had their last couple albums. I've liked them all. I've appreciated their songwriting and their overall sound, but they really upped the ante on all fronts on Obscene Majesty. And if you're into brutal death metal, and even if you're not, even if you're just a casual bystander, I think this is a good point, insertion point for you when it comes to jumping into the genre. There's a lot of bands that try to ape this sound that may not be as successful, but this is top-notch stuff, and you should definitely check it out. Thanks a lot.